Hey everyone, Happy New Year and welcome back to costumeco. Today we're jumping back into the costumes from HBO's Dune Prophecy. If you missed part 1, I've pinned the link in the comments section below. And you can also check out my playlist with reviews of Denis Villeneuve's Dune films and David Lynch's Dune. Plus, I'm planning to review the costumes from the 2000 Dune miniseries soon, so stay tuned. In my first review, I had only seen up to episode 4, so this follow-up will cover any costumes I missed, and I've also got some new info to share about what I've covered earlier. But warning, there will be mild spoilers for Dune Prophecy Season 1. Big thanks to my patron Tommy Essen, who just upgraded to the Cosmic Couturier tier. And of course, a huge thank you to all of my patrons for your support. Now with that out of the way, let's get into it. I've added chapters to the video so you can skip ahead at any time. Desmond Hart and House Corrino. In my last video, I didn't focus much on Desmond since he only had one costume. However, in the Dune Prophecy episode in Blood Truth, Emperor Yaviko Corrino promotes Desmond to Bashar, a high-ranking military official. His new military ensemble is a likeness to his Arrakis tan coat and trousers, but the color leans more towards black with just a hint of blue, suggesting that his alignment with the Emperor is nearing its conclusion. YouTube creator Heavy Spoilers pointed out that Hart's character might be inspired by Grigory Rasputin, the Russian mystic who influenced the Romanovs in the final years of the Russian Empire. Now this makes sense to me as the House Atreides dress uniforms in both the 1984 and 2020 Dune films were inspired by the Romanovs. Hart's messy hair, beard, asymmetrical coat, tall boots, and trousers reflect Rasputin's silhouette, while actor Travis Fimmell's pale blue wide eyes echo the crazed look captured in pictures of Rasputin. I've mentioned in a past livestream that I also noticed something unusual about Hart's right eye in the show, so it's possible Fimmell wore contacts. Hart leads the Emperor's regiment, seemingly an earlier version of the Sardaukar, the Padishah Emperor's elite military force. While the Sardaukars' desert tone uniforms are designed for camouflage on Arrakis in the movies, the Bashar's regiment wear colors more aligned with the royal family's palette. In my previous video, I noted that the royal family's colors are pomegranate red and teal, but one viewer pointed out that midnight blue is the dominant hue. Well, they're right, but it's complemented by accents of teal, cyan, burgundy, blue-gray, and gold, reflecting the golden lion of their house sigil. One standout costume from the season finale is Empress Natalia's military-inspired dress worn during her call for her daughter Inez's arrest, likely influenced by the formal dress uniform as seen on Constantine and Yaviko. The Empress and Princess often wear gold kokoshnik-style headdresses at court. The kokoshnik, a traditional Russian headdress, became a fashionable element in Russian imperial gowns and tiaras during the 18th and 19th century. So for example, a Fabergé tiara crafted for Empress Alexandra in 1900 reflects this style, as does a Cartier-made sapphire and diamond kokoshnik tiara from 1909 famously worn by Grand Duchess Maria Pavlovna. In the finale, Empress Natalia's open-neck golden silk satin gown, printed with a geometric motif, reminded me of Queen Cersei Lannister from Game of Thrones. Like Cersei, who most often had some kind of embroidery of the rampant golden lion embroidered on her gowns, Natalia often has an abstract representation of House Corrino stenciled onto the contrasting linings, embellishments along the neckline or hems of her costume, or in metalwork on her jewelry or tiaras. Now, funny enough, actress Jodie May, who plays Natalia, appeared in Game of Thrones years ago opposite a young Cersei. Now, after that power grab, I can't wait to see what Natalia does next. If you are enjoying this content, please take a moment to like this video so that I'll know that this is the kind of content that you would like to see more of. Thank you. House Harkonnan. I touched on most aspects of House Harkonnan costumes in my last video, my favorite of the series. but actors Mark Addy and Edward Davis, who played Yevgeny and Hero Harkonnan respectively, provided some insight into their looks in an interview with Space.com. Edward Davis said that his Baron costume really helped him get into character, saying, "Not that I'd suggest this, but you could do no prep on a character and you'd suddenly have so much to work with. That whole ruffle thing was great and it did give a slight pompous tone." However, Hero's costumes were not without their challenges. Davis said there was this huge furry cloak that he had to wear, which was insanely heavy, and by the end of the shooting day, he'd be in agony. However, he added that there was something symbolically fitting about it, as it acted as a sort of status symbol, this big fur garment that was crushing his character. And Hero also adds some comic relief to the show that at times is dead serious. David said, "The costumes really do a lot, and the haircut was hilarious. I went into the makeup chair, got the haircut, and thought, okay, this is the kind of show where everyone has weird haircuts. I can't wait for this. Then I step out onto set, and everyone looks normal." Mark Addy also had high praise for his costume, telling Space.com, "The leather that they used to make the jacket thing was textured in such a way that you couldn't tell what kind of creature it was from. It could have been whale, we don't know. You'd look in the mirror with all this gear on and think, I can almost smell fish." There's something about it that made you feel like you inhabit this fishy ice world. The attention to detail for the costumes was incredible. The Sisterhood. As I mentioned in my last video, the Reverend Mothers of the Sisterhood in Dune Prophecy don't stray far from the Bene Gesserit as depicted in Dune Part 1 and 2. The film's costume designer, Jacqueline West, told Vogue that her inspiration came from tarot imagery, especially the Queen of Swords, medieval paintings from Giotto di Bondone, and depictions of the Virgin Mary. And she also drew from her childhood memories of nuns' habits, recalling how they would billow as they walked down breezeways. West aimed to recreate that image in Dune Part 2. For Dune Prophecy, costume designer Bojana Nikitovic seems to have drawn inspiration for the Truth Sayers from Gareth Pugh's Spring-Summer 2013 collection, as samples from his designs appear on her mood board. Couture influences are prominent in the Duneverse, as established in Villeneuve's films. For example, in Dune Part 2, Princess Erlin's bird-like headpieces appear to draw from Sarah Burton's 2012 Alexander McQueen collection. Additionally, Erlin's finale headdress closely resembles a Paco Rabanne design from their Fall 2020 collection. Borrowing from runway fashion isn't unusual for costume designers. As Game of Thrones costume designer Michelle Clapton noted, and I am paraphrasing here, the exchange goes both ways, with fashion often drawing from film and TV. Now, personally, I don't mind this creative interplay as long as it's acknowledged. Now, not all inspiration comes from the runway, though. The Truth Sayers' costumes also seem influenced by Russian Orthodox traditions. Their tall, thimble-shaped hats, called a klobuk, are paired with veils, echoing attire worn by Orthodox priests and nuns. During the Renaissance, this style of women's hat, called a hennin, is featured in the painting Portrait of a Young Woman by Dutch painter Petrus Christus circa 1470. Eva Hines, the daughter of Kieran Hines, portrays acolyte Sister Emmeline and recently shared insights into her costume in an interview with the Mary Sue. Much like Hero's costume, the acolyte uniform played a significant role in helping Hines get into her character. She explained, "The first time I tried on the costume, you stand a different way. It makes you feel a different way, and those things naturally influence how the character feels. Even though it might seem like a blank canvas, every little decision makes the character stronger and more meaningful." She went on to add, "Without the exuberant costumes that let the character express themselves, it really forces you to focus and strip everything down to the essentials of who your character truly is." Sister Francesca, played by renowned Indian actress Taboo, first appears in episode 5. Now, she's a powerful sister, the Emperor's former lover, and the mother of his son Constantine. Her gown, hooded cloak, and Kokoshnik-style headdress resemble Valya's costume, though Francesca's features more intricate details, including embossed shiny appliques on her headdress and veil that catch the light. And you may have noticed that her veil features black trim that create an outline akin to the beaded gold headdress worn by Inez in episode 1. Valia's headpiece, meanwhile, while undecorated, is significantly taller than Francesca's. The Truthsayers, like Reverend Mother Kasha, feature abstract black appliques on their veils and necklines. These decorations are organic in shape, contrasting House Corrino's geometric designs. Now, initially, I thought these odd shapes resembled an archipelago or bones, perhaps symbolizing Dorothea's followers' skeletal remains at the pond's bottom. Alternatively, they might represent the high rank of figures like Valia and Francesca. As I came across these markings of Eastern Orthodox analavas, a long embroidered cloth worn by monks and nuns of the Great Schema, featuring symbols of Christ's suffering and crucifixion. Francesca's cape sleeve applique even resembles an abstract cross. This also brings Tula to mind. Unlike Valia or Francesca, who convey power through their attire, Tula's subdued outfits align more closely with the acolytes. And while HBO has announced that Dune Prophecy has been renewed for a second season, no air dates have been announced, and we will likely have to wait until 2026 to see Villeneuve's Dune Messiah. Now, I'm really looking forward to spending more time in the Duneverse. A huge thank you to my patrons for making this video possible, and to all of you for spending time with me. I'll see you in the next video.